Stop scrolling. If you are 65 or older, or if you have a parent or grandparent who is, what I am about to share with you could mean money you earned that the government is still holding for you right now. I am talking about 4 different refunds that most seniors never even apply for, and the deadlines to grab them are not flexible. We are talking about a new $6,000 deduction on the table right now, a refundable credit that begins at over $1,500, a separate credit worth up to $7,500, and an amended return that lets you claw back money from the last 3 tax years. I will give you the form numbers, the dollar amounts in plain English, and the exact steps to take before the April filing window closes. Now here is the part that will probably surprise you. Every year, the Internal Revenue Service estimates that close to $2 billion in refunds goes unclaimed by people who qualify but never file the right paperwork. Seniors who live mostly on Social Security are the biggest group that leaves this money on the table. The reason is not that the rules are cruel. The reason is that nobody ever told them the forms existed, so the money just sits in Washington doing nothing for nobody. I am going to fix that for you right now. And I am going to lay it out so it sounds like a conversation with a neighbor, not a tax class. Before I go any further, please listen carefully to this small disclaimer. I am not your accountant, and this is not legal advice. Tax numbers change every year, and the rules have small print that can matter for your own situation. I am sharing the 4 benefits that apply to the largest number of retirees, with the official figures from the IRS for tax year 2025 as the source. If your life is unusual, talk to a real preparer. If your life follows the normal path of a retiree in America, then what you hear next almost certainly applies to you. Got it? Good. Now let us walk through the real problem. Most seniors walk into tax season the same way they have walked in for 40 years. They hand a stack of forms to a preparer, sign the return, and hope for the best. The trouble is, the tax code for retirees changed a lot in the last few years, and most local preparers only updated their checklist halfway. The new $6,000 over 65 bonus deduction was rolled out in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, and it is only here for 4 years, from 2025 through 2028. If your preparer does not ask you about it, your refund shrinks by hundreds of dollars for no good reason. That is why I want you to understand the rules yourself. Ask for it by name, write down the form number, make the preparer show you the line on the page. Now here's the first refund, and it is the biggest one for most of you. Number 1, the new senior bonus deduction, something the IRS officially calls the additional deduction for taxpayers age 65 and older. It is $6,000 per eligible senior on top of the regular standard deduction. And if you are married and both of you are 65 or older, you can stack it to $12,000. The plain deduction for a single senior in 2025 is $15,750. Married filing jointly is $31,500. Add the $6,000 for each qualifying spouse, and the new numbers for seniors become $23,000. $850 for one of you, and up to $43,500 for a couple. At a 15% tax rate, that $6,000 deduction can save a senior up to $900 a year in real cash. For a couple, it can reach $1,800, and that money comes off your tax bill dollar for dollar. Now, before I go any further, please listen carefully about who qualifies and who does not. You must be 65 or older by the end of the tax year. That means if your 65th birthday lands anytime in 2025, you are in. Then the rules look at your modified adjusted gross income. Single filers start losing the bonus when their MAGI crosses $75,000, and married couples start losing it when their joint MAGI crosses $150,000. The phase out is gentle, not a cliff. Above those levels, the $6,000 shrinks gradually and disappears entirely at $250,000 for a single filer and $300,000 for a couple. So the lower income senior gets the full $6,000, and the comfortable retiree gets nothing. Both groups are real. I want you to feel included whichever side of that line you live on. You can find the exact numbers on the IRS newsroom page titled, "Check Your Eligibility for the New Enhanced Deduction for Seniors." The form you claim this on is Form 1040, and many seniors will use the senior-friendly cousin called Form 1040-SR, which prints in larger type and has the same legal effect. The bonus goes on. Schedule A if you itemize, or simply adds to your standard deduction if you take the standard. If you take the standard deduction, the work is already done for you on the form, and you may have to write a single line on the new worksheet. There is no separate form to fill out. If a paid preparer skipped this on last year's return, that is exactly the kind of mistake an amended return can fix. Now let me walk you through number 2 on our list, the Earned Income Tax Credit for Childless Seniors. This one is famous for helping working families with kids, but very few retirees know that the age cap was removed for lower income workers. That means if you are 65 and you are still drawing a paycheck, part-time work, a small business, or even a hobby that turned into a small income, you may qualify for a credit of up to about $1,500. The exact cap for 2025 for a childless worker is $1,502. The income ceiling for that credit is $19,104 for single filers and $26,214 for married couples. If your income is below those numbers, the IRS essentially gives you money back even if you owed no tax. Think about it like a rebate at the grocery store. You spend $10 and the manager hands you back $2 because you used the right coupon. The EITC is the coupon. The form is the EIC line on Form 1040, and there is a separate worksheet called the EIC Assistant Tool on the official IRS website at irs.gov. Plug in your numbers and it tells you in 30 seconds whether you qualify. Many retirees who work part-time at Walmart, at a church, doing bookkeeping from home, or driving for a rideshare service have left this money on the table for years. Drop everything you are doing and run that tool today. Now here's the third refund, and this one has been hiding in plain sight since the 1980s. It is called the Credit for the Elderly or the Disabled, and you claim it on Schedule R, which attaches to your Form 1040. The IRS has priced the credit between $3,750 and $7,500 in published guidance. The actual payout for most people lands somewhere between a few $100s and the maximum. The credit is not a refund, so it can only zero out tax you owe. But for the lower income senior, it often erases tax completely. And when paired with the EITC and the bonus deduction, the refund checks speak for themselves. To qualify, you must be 65 or older at year end, or you must be under 65 and retired on permanent and total disability, and you must meet the income limits published by the IRS in the Schedule R instructions. Let me picture 3 real readers. Picture a single 70-year-old woman on Social Security and a small pension, living in Ohio, paying a few $100s a year in federal income tax. She files a Form 1040-SR and adds Schedule R. Her credit wipes out her tax bill and pushes a small refund back to her bank account. Picture a married couple in Arizona, both 67, drawing Social Security plus a small pension. They claim the senior bonus deduction, and any small tax they owed simply disappears. Picture a 66-year-old man who still drives a school bus in Tennessee. He claims the earned income tax credit on his return, and the IRS sends him back roughly $1,400. 3 different people, 3 different returns, 3 different refund checks, all because they knew the form numbers to write down. Now, before I go any further, please listen carefully about the catch. The catch is the deadline. The deadline to file a return claiming the 2025 senior bonus deduction, the EITC for childless workers, and Schedule R is April 15th of 2026, with the standard extension window when that date lands on a weekend or holiday. You can file for free through the IRS Free File program if your income is below the threshold, or you can sit down with a trained volunteer at a VITA site or a TCE site, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance and Tax Counseling for the Elderly. AARP Tax Aid is the largest single network of free senior tax help in the country, and the IRS picks up the cost of training and software. The help is free, the volunteers are bonded and trained, and many sites will sit with you face to face and prepare the whole return on the spot. Now, let me walk you through the fourth refund, and this is the one that pays for the previous three if your preparer missed them. It is called an amended return, and you file it on Form 1040-X. Every tax law textbook calls it the safety net of the American tax system. If your 2022 return was filed in 2023, your 2023 return was filed in 2024, and your 2024 return was filed in 2025, you still have time to amend any of those 3 years to claim deductions and credits you missed. The IRS gives you 3 years from the original filing deadline, or 2 years from the date you actually paid the tax, whichever is later. That window closes like a doctor's appointment that cannot be rescheduled. Once it shuts, the refund is gone forever. Picture a 72-year-old widower in Florida who filed his 2022 return himself, left off the $6,000 senior bonus because it did not exist yet, but left off other credits he qualified for in 2022. He can sit down with a preparer, file Form 1040-X for 2022, and the IRS will mail him a check for the difference. Many retirees have done exactly this and received checks for $700, $1,200, even over $3,000. The dollar amount is not the point. The point is that the form exists, the window is open, and nothing is sitting between you and the money except the form. Now here's the part nobody talks about when they discuss amended returns. 2 practical tips save a lot of pain. Tip 1. Do not e-file 4 amended returns at once without help. Mail them on paper, send them certified, and keep a copy. Tip 2. Allow 12 to 16 weeks for processing, which is slower than a normal return, like waiting for a package that has to cross the country twice. Some seniors get nervous when the check does not arrive in 3 weeks. That is normal. The IRS will send a notice. Patience pays. Now, before I go any further, please listen carefully to the free filing path because this matters for your wallet. If your income is below the IRS free file threshold, you can prepare and e-file a federal return for free using brand name software at the official IRS free file page. If you prefer real human help, dial 211 or your local 211 referral line and ask for the nearest VITA or TCE site. AARP Tax Aid. Volunteers operate at libraries, senior centers, and community colleges from January through April, and they will sit down with you, prepare the 1040-SR, add Schedule R if you qualify, claim the EIC if you qualify, and even help with the 1040-X amendment paperwork. The help is free, the service is bonded and trained, and they will not try to sell you anything. Now let me pull it all together in plain language and give you the recap that takes about 90 seconds. Refund number 1 is the $6,000 senior bonus deduction, also called the OBBBA enhanced deduction for seniors age 65 and older, claimed on Form 1040 or 1040-SR. Refund number 2 is the earned income tax credit for childless workers, up to about $1,500 if you are still working a little, claimed on Form 1040 with the EIC worksheet. Refund number 3 is the credit for the elderly and disabled on Schedule R, worth up to roughly $7,500 on paper and meaningful money for most people in real dollars. Refund number 4 is the amended return on Form 1040-X, which can reach back 3 tax years and pick up every missed credit and deduction from your past 3 returns. Now here is the single most important action step of the entire video. Sit down in the next week and write down 4 form numbers on a piece of paper you keep near your tax folder. Write 1040, the regular return, or 1040-SR, the senior-friendly return. Write the letters EIC next to it, because if you work part-time, that line matters. Write Schedule R if you are 65 or older, and your taxable income is modest. And write 1040X, the amended return, so you have it in your hand if your preparer missed anything in the last 3 years. Then pick up the phone and call the AARP tax aid number for your area, walk into any VITA site, or open the IRS free file page on your tablet. Do this before April. That is the only deadline that matters. If one piece of what I said landed with you today, please hit the subscribe button below and turn on the little bell icon. This channel is free. It is built for seniors and families who care about seniors, and every week I publish another video that covers a different hidden refund, deduction, or benefit that you probably have never been told about. Last week we covered how to stop Social Security overpayment letters. The week before that we covered the Savers Credit that helps workers on a fixed income. Before I go, please do me one small favor. Send this video to one person you love who is over 60 and who has not filed yet this year. That text takes 4 seconds and it could give them $1,000 they did not know they had. Now, before I go any further, I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, did your preparer mention the $6,000 senior bonus on last year's return? Or did you have to ask for it yourself? Tell me what year you plan to amend. And tell me, honestly, are you going to call AARP Tax Aid this week? Or are you going to download IRS Free File tonight? The comment section below is the place to do it. I read every one of them. Next week, I will publish a full breakdown of the new Supplemental Security Income Update, the payment dates for the next 8 months, and the small changes to Medicare Part B premiums that will hit your January statement. Subscribe now so you do not miss it, and tell me in the comments what you want next week's video to cover. Talk to you soon.